right. And we're live and here. So we have, I'm super excited. We have Mickey here. Thank you for being here. So Mickey is the holistic nutritionist and personal trainer that has been supporting myself and Suzanna to take on her nutrition and her life for that matter, because it all is like in the same realm. And I'm really excited because we get to have this really amazing conversation where Suzanna gets to let us know how it went. And that's an us. That's not just me. That's an us. So then Mickey will really have an idea of what it was like for her. And then we get to work together so that she can take on her next week with power. So without further ado, and we're excited about Suzanna being here too. I shouldn't underscore that. So Suzanna, why don't you give us the lowdown of how the week went? What worked for you?
So this week has been rather very up and downish in terms of emotions. I was working a lot of mindset. What had happened to me was that I wasn't very consistent in my exercise, and we were trying some things with also my food and being a little bit more consistent. What I was working on was filling up tea, getting more water intake, as I was only going to the bathroom prior before going to doing this challenge. I was only going to the bathroom maybe at least twice to 4 times a week for number 2. For this time, because I increased my water intake, I've been going to the bathroom almost every hour, and especially when I've been working, and that was a big thing there.
You mean number 2 every hour?
No, well, yes, in a way. The first day that I was actually drinking more water, I was doing a number 2 every hour or every other hour. Yeah, and then I was able to do it like almost every day. And then I've been also like, went grocery shopping, and I was able to see like these wonderful protein balls that I really love, and they're so good. They're so filling, and they're amazing. And I take those in between my meals. So I've been having a lot of new discoveries.
I think we lagged out there for a second.
One second.
She had new discoveries. That's where we're left. And that's okay. Well, that's awesome. So I don't know if she can hear us, but Suzanna's definitely had quite the journey this week. We'll get into that. However, I'm really proud of her for the grocery shopping. It really takes something to go from a place of comfort and ordering in all the time or eating out to having to go to the grocery store. Wow. Yeah. Like you back?
Yeah. So sorry about that. Yeah. Sorry. My friend is, I'm sitting in her backyard and in front of her lawn under the tree, and she's going to get my driver's license in a few seconds. But anyways, just 1 second. Okay. I'm just going to give her the
cool.
license.
That's cool. But yeah, so like I said, taking those habits and having to kind of go the hard way, like it's following path of least resistance. If you can just, order in and get your food, you don't really have to put in a ton of effort. It's a complete reversal if now you have to walk into the store, look for the items, find out where they are, ask people. That's a lot of effort, right? And that's a huge barrier to a lot of people, to take on cooking at home. So there are different strategies around that. However, Suzanna did a really great job of just like taking the reins and just like going for it. And she'll speak to some of the different struggles later. However, anyone who's watching this, I always invite people to look at where we take the shortcuts in our life, right? Because, I mean, we want all these results and we don't put in any effort. And so she was able to demonstrate today, or not today, but she was to demonstrate a few days ago when she went to the grocery store. She's like, rain, I shouldn't go. Okay, well, it's late. I won't have time. All of that in between time of like, should I go? Shouldn't I go? Well, now it's like probable that you're not going to be able to go, but she did it anyways.
Yeah, that's right. And I've overcome some things, and even though it wasn't perfect, I feel like I did some progress. Some habits hit off the checklist, but not all. Right.
Hey, we'll get to
Uh,
that. We'll
and
get to
it's
that.
stepping stones, right? Stepping stones.
yeah, but a lot of emotional battles, I could
Sure.
say, and I think you can say that as well, right? So
Yeah.
So my week overall, I feel it wasn't like, I think last week was probably more productive, but I planned for this week to hit it like with a bang. That's what I'm saying.
Well, it is a
Awesome.
different beast, remember. So I just want to point to comparisons. Like, I don't know if it's even a fair comparison because we got all comfy in week 2. It's like a progress of week 1, right? You already built those awarenesses and all this. And like, now it's like, okay, I'm going to go cook some food and go to the grocery store. Like, this is a whole different beast. That's a whole different elephant that you've got to cut up into, chunk, right?
That's true. Yes, that's a chunking is important, and
Yes.
it's bigger. Yes.
So I want to
Bigger than I
acknowledge
thought.
you for like just taking on the task, period. No comparison, because I mean, it totally is different. And we'll get into that when we go to the report, which if the last thing I want you to just outline is what is something that you learned and what's something that didn't work this week before we go into the report.
So what I learned was that just to get out of my box, different perspectives work for me, and just having that courage to step forward and do it rather than thinking and being in my head and not. That was one, and another one was that I had problems with. Is that right? One learning, one problem, right? Is
Well,
that correct,
yeah,
Cameron?
something that didn't work. You can outline a problem if you want, however you want to express it. Like, this is your own. Don't let it, it's not mine. Give it to me raw. Like, give it how it was for you in whatever way you want.
I enjoyed the protein balls and trying new things and having challenging myself in certain ways. And the the difficult part was overcoming emotions and overcoming just the bad habits that I've been putting in place, like putting myself last. I'm still learning about that, about putting myself first and my health, because I've always, like, every time that like something comes up with food, this is the biggest challenge ever, is that whenever it comes to food and company, whether it be boyfriend or friends or relatives or whatever, it's always difficult because it's like I want that, but I can't. Oh my god, it's like such a conflicting battle. Anyways, that's what I can say.
Amazing, because like that's raw. I love it. The struggle is not only just about you eating right? It's about having your community support you. It's about having your environment work towards supporting what you want. And those cravings happen and they're natural and there's nothing wrong with them. And we often shame ourselves, but that shame only pushes us deeper, right? So the awareness of those moments when we're in those situations, we can figure out a way to have it work differently for you, right? And that won't happen overnight. So good.
I was going to say it's sorry, I didn't mean to jump in there. Just that it's part of life. Like we all have it. We all have family. We all have friends. We all have those social times, and we have to just learn how to work that into it without people even noticing. And I can help you with some strategies in that as well. So
I think it's a different animal when you're struggling with sometimes like the boyfriend or whatever, oh, I want to eat out, but I can make a wrap for you. We can eat in and play video games. No, 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 I want to eat out. I don't want to do the dishes and stuff like that. And it's like, oh my God, what do you do? I want to eat out too. Or, oh well, whatever, things. Yeah. So yeah,
And
so that basically combating going out this week is going to be a big battle. It's like fighting an elephant.
and
Hmm.
is it because the going out is more a social thing because of COVID? We're more stuck inside. So maybe that going out is because he feels like he just wants to get maybe out in general. Like maybe you could take like a picnic or something. You know what I mean? Like and go somewhere and bring your food with you and eat outside or something. Maybe it's just the
That's
fact
such a
that he
good
wants to get
idea.
out. That could be it too because we have been so cooped up, right? So.
Definitely, I think that's definitely a good idea. I think I will do that, to prepare it in advance and then eat outside. But then he has allergies, so
Oh.
what do you do with that? And then of course, you can't sit on the floor. But like I have a chair, but like I'll try it out and
Right.
see how it goes, right? So yeah.
Yeah, just maybe your environment around somewhere where there's no pollen flying around or something, depending on his allergies, right?
But you won't know until you try. Something that my mom
Yeah,
has always told me, right?
yeah.
Because
That's right.
we can speculate all day about like what will stop you from enjoying that thing. It could be that pollen makes his nose
Mhm.
feel so sad that he's
Yeah.
like, I hate this.
Yeah,
Or he might actually be like okay with it. It might be like, oh, I was a little uncomfortable during that picnic, but it was lovely. We don't know.
Mhm.
So now, let's move into the report because now we get to kind of visit how the week went. And again, this is from the lens of nutrition. So I still will have stats on sleep. I still will have stats on steps because all of these things are related to you having optimal health. And they actually all interrelate, right? If you do more steps, you're going to sleep better. If you sleep better, you're going to make easier choices with nutrition, all that
And
stuff.
also
So,
the types of food in nutrition, as we go to, those certain vitamins and minerals are going to help you sleep better as well, right?
yeah.
So the types of food you're eating, yeah.
So it's all interrelated. So here's the lovely. I hope you guys like it. I found a beautiful
That's
photo
awesome.
of like fruit.
it's so beautiful.
So you guys can see this, yeah?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Awesome. Okay, so let's jump into it. So what is our focus for this week? So we sat down and we actually identified that really, eating every 3 to 4 hours is something that was pivotal, something that needed to be put into Suzanna's regimen because,
Yeah.
when she's working all the time and she's not prepping, then she's going without food. And then when she's without food, then she gets into these binge modes, you know?
Yeah.
So the building of awareness, much like last week, and moving more, these are the three, and that should be a 3. I thought I changed it, didn't, and that's this doesn't have to be perfect.
Yeah.
Just like our health, right? We gotta anyway. So those are not changing. We're still gonna be increasingly more aware. Now, for number 1, which is our eating every 3 to 4 hours, how we're doing it is we are tracking that food data through the Fuel Life app through MyFitnessPal. And that's an optional thing. And Suzanna has been putting those things in. As well, we are tracking healthy behaviors. And the behavior that we spoke about previously was eating every 3 to 4 hours. And number 2, we're linking food prep and other aspects of her food behavior into that morning routine that we have been developing since the day 1. Number 3 is reflection and support. Mickey's been available to Suzanna over text, as well as myself in a group chat. And we've actually hopped on the phone a couple times just to support Suzanna in her journey. And that's how we are taking care of goal number 1. Now, goal number 2, we are just doing exactly as we did for weeks 1 and 2. We are doing our daily accountability videos where we get to get a little insight into how it went for Suzanna that day. And in the background, I haven't told Suzanna this, but I want every video she does, I watch it and then I take notes of the different things that she struggles with, she was excited about, and whatever. And you know, by the end of this, we get to see a very comprehensive list of like how things have gone day by day. And much like this call for number 2, our weekly reviews, we get to adjust things and we get to make sure that things are working for her. They're not too easy, not too hard. And, you know, just like the porridge and the, you know, not too hot, not too cold. And number 3 is communication with myself and Mickey, so that we can answer questions. So she can write down her questions that she faces so that she doesn't forget, and then she can bring them to us. And then she can be really committed to breaking past those things that stop her. Number 3, which is our moving more. We're still tracking our steps in the app. It's automatically sent from her Fitbit, and we're encouraging more social activities. And Suzanna, as she spoke, she, you know, actually, I'm not even going to go there. Not going to add.
It's been a little bit up and down this week, so it's just going to be more social in the next week
Yeah.
or 2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're going to encourage social activities that involve movement, right? And then the last is linking to already existing routines. And this is just helpful in creating those healthy patterns inside of what we already love, right? We want things to work for your life, not for, you know, you to do something just because it's a chore. So that is how we're doing it. Now, for week 3, we had Suzanna being supported by Mickey, who is a holistic nutritionist, and she's also a personal trainer, and then myself, and I'm a personal trainer and an online personal trainer as well. And now to the results. Sleep results, 7.12 hours on average of sleep. And, you know, this is great because Suzanna and I kind of set out like, we want to make sure that it's above 7. Well, guess what, Suzanna? It is. Here you go.
Did you include the one today? Because
Yep.
honestly, like I got up at around 8:30, about there.
I did include today. Yes.
Okay, great, awesome. Because it was showing inaccurately. Just want to make sure. There we go.
It was showing inaccurately. Whatever was on there, I put in.
Okay, great. So it should have been like 7
Yeah.
something hours. Okay, great.
Correct. Yeah.
Awesome.
Which is great. And like too, like you know, this is in regards to what we focused on in week 1 and 2, but like going to bed at those specific times and listening to Suzanna's videos back. It's beautiful to hear how excited she was when she woke up after having 7.5 hours of sleep. She said, actually, I can't remember exactly what she said, but she said she felt amazing. And so
That's right.
Increasingly over time, what I've heard from your videos, Suzanna, is just how much of a difference it feels when you feel slept versus not slept. Now, here's where we, well, there's a lot less steps that we had this week, and that's okay.
Oops.
It happens, right? And Suzanna spoke about that, right? And so 1,815 steps. And just to get the number from last week. So last week we did around 3,500 steps. Okay, so on average per day. So as we can see, there's a big difference between this week and last week. There's nothing wrong with that, because if Suzanna takes a look at her week this week, what she was dealing with probably will be related to her getting less steps. And that's what matters. I'm not like going to sit here and say, slap on wrist, like, bad, you got this many steps. No. If we take a look at how the week went, it usually will be kind of predictable. Like if you were more stressed out, you're probably going to have less steps. Then we can take a look and see what got in the way. So that is that for the steps. Now, oh, this should actually be green, but that's fine. 100% of the days you ate every 3 hours. So great job, Suzanna. And
That's awesome.
66% of the time you did your nutrition habits. And this includes, like Suzanna alluded to before, it's like meal prepping and her tea. But as we can see here, it's a huge improvement. So great job, Suzanna. And what we'll be talking about in our next video is what kind of changes we're going to do for the week ahead. Because obviously, with you hitting 100% of the days, we get to go on to a little bit of a deeper level for these days, and maybe take a look, and Mickey will guide us there. What types of foods are you eating every 3 hours? I don't know what that will look like. So before I end this part of our discussion, I just want to hear from both of you, actually. Suzanna first. What crosses your mind after seeing all of that, hearing all of that, and just reflecting on the week?
I guess it wasn't so bad after all. I guess, I mean, yeah, because it depends. I don't know what you were tracking. So I guess when you come in and this blindfolded, and I'm thinking, oh, you're tracking probably exercise and you're tracking sleep, but all the other things that I didn't know what you were tracking. So I thought, like, oh no, I'm going to fail this test. I think that's what it's going to be. But then when I see those numbers, 100%, 66%, 100%, that's like huge difference from like last week, right?
Yeah.
Based on what you were tracking. So I just feel like, wow, you surprised me again. Oh my goodness. Totally left field sort of thing, you know?
Just to add in, like, I'm not deliberately like I'm not fixing the numbers to make it look good for you or anything like that. Like, what just to give you insight into how I chose those things, I actually talked to Mickey with your consent to identify what is the number one habit that would make a difference in your life. And you know what she said to me? She said, if Suzanna were to eat every 3 to 4 hours and be more mindful about her prep so that she could take on her nutrition, that would make a huge difference. And so that is how I came to track those things. When I see a person hitting 100% of a overarching goal for nutrition, this is why I say we're going to go deeper, because, you know, you hit it, no problem. Now, I'm not looking to like break you down. However, we want to get deep where you are exploring and building on things that you are already skilled at. And so that's why I say good job. And we're not attached to that number. It's kind of just a check-in to see, you know, how you're doing. So there we go.
And it's great to have those successes, because you can go along, as you know, Cameron. I mean, you can have people that maybe, you know, are working out and not have a weight change, but their inches are huge. You know what I mean? Like it's you get those little things that you need that reassurance. You know, I am on the right track. I have made improvements, and sometimes tons of improvements. Sometimes we don't look at our health, like all of a sudden our blood pressure is better, our, you know, resting heart rate's better. All those things, right, that we don't take internally, that we don't realize. And you know, we're not as restless or jittery, or because we're not getting in, like food wise, you know, if we're not eating, that type of thing. So I you know, those little steps and successes you have, I think that's huge. It's huge for people to see that, you know, it is a step-by-step process and there is success in each step.
Yeah. So that's awesome.
That's amazing. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
You're welcome. And like I said, we're gonna make it a little bit more challenging now. We're gonna go deeper, but we're not trying to break you. But it's
No,
like every person, we've got to meet people where they're at, right?
Yeah.
If we just throw things at you that will like assure yourself how you know, terrible you are, like that does not do anything for sustainable change. Not everyone, but like a lot of people spend their whole lives basically crapping on themselves and feeling like crap every time they go to work on their health
Yeah.
because they are a failure or some other label that they label themselves, or they're not good enough, or all that. And that step ladder to success starts with you, where you're at, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we build from there. And so if you take all of what you did this week, the tea, the grocery shopping, the cooking, finding a freaking recipe you like, you know, being more aware and cognizant that like when other people are around that you feel tempted, Suzanna, those are the things that when you can bring those into your life and actually take action to make a difference around them, that's what propels you up. This isn't a perfection game. This is about creating sustainable change. Like when I told you at the beginning, like, you know, this notion that I can't be healthy, yeah, that's gone. That's in the past now. Wherever you're at, that's where we're going to meet you, and we're going to move you forward as a team. You include it. Everything you say, everything that you do, everything we say, everything that we do, all of what we do as a team will get us there. You know? So, Mickey, do you have any last final thoughts before we close up this part of the video?
No, just echoing what you're saying, like it's so true. We, you know, everybody has a different baseline, and what is that baseline for that person, right? And so we found that for Susan with with food, right? We had to have that baseline, know her lifestyle, and like I say, just it's a stepping, it's a process, and for her to hit those benchmarks, I think that's amazing, right? That's all part of the game. So yeah, so I think she's done excellent in hitting the goals that we set out, and they were attainable for her and right for her at the time. So we build from there.
Cool. Awesome. Any last thoughts, Suzanna, before we close out?
Yeah, well, I think that this is an important part of the health challenge for me, because it also is much about mind and how I treat myself internally. And when you said, you know, when people beat up themselves, and it's almost like as if they're putting themselves down every single time that they focus on their health, or they focus on other things in their life, or even to improve themselves. And I think this is such an important journey in this part, where I'd like to, like, you know, highlight that this is something that I want to implement forward to my life, and how I treat myself and others and everything else in my realm. So yeah.
Amazing. And with that, that concludes our little recap. So now we'll close out this video, and then we're gonna continue chatting. So thanks everyone, and well, I'll talk to you guys in a second. But thank you everyone for watching, and looking forward to the next week, because more nutrition and building on what we did this week. Catch you then.